This year marks the centenary of the armistice and the end of the First World War. The Great War, they called it, the war to end all wars. 100 years on, debate still rages on as to the reason behind the conflict which claimed the lives of 17 million people, traumatised a generation, overturned old empires and changed the world's political order forever. This Sunday, we will wear our poppies and remember the courage and the bravery of those millions of young men and women who were sent to their deaths fighting for a cause they couldn't understand. War, how can any of us possibly understand? But the young men eagerly signed up, looking for adventure as they marched off into hell.
Goodbye, Dolly, I must leave you, though it breaks my heart to go. Something tells me I am needed at the front to fight the foe. See, the soldier boys are marching, and I can no longer stay. Goodbye, Dolly Gray. Goodbye, Dolly, I must leave you, though it breaks my heart to go. Something tells me I am needed at the front to fight the foe. See, the soldier boys are marching, and I can no longer stay. Hark, I hear the bugle calling. Goodbye, Dolly Ray.
When the soldiers got to the front, there was a lack of information.
They weren't sure what they were meant to be doing and didn't know when they were going over the top. They didn't know why they were there, and they didn't even know what they were going to be used for.
We're here because we're here because we're here because we're here. We're here because we're here because we're here because we're here.
By the end of 1915, almost 2.5 million men had signed up. Of that number, 320,589, or 13% of the total, were Scots. By the end of the war, the number of Scots in the armed forces amounted to 688,416.
Bless them all, the long and the short and the tall. Bless all the sergeants and WW1s, bless all the corporals and their blinking sons, 'cause we're saying goodbye to them all. As back to their billets they crawl, you'll get no promotion this side of the ocean, so cheer up my lads, bless them all. Bless them all, bless them all, the long and the short and the tall. Bless all the sergeants and WO1s, bless all the corporals and their blinking sons, 'cause we're saying goodbye to them all. As back to their billets they crawl, you'll get no promotion this side of the ocean, so cheer up my lads, bless them all.
The trenches were rat-infested. The stench of the dead and the latrines and the noise of the guns on the battlefield must have been terrifying. The first day of the Battle of the Somme, 1st of July 1916, is infamous for the number of casualties sustained. British forces suffered 57,470 casualties, including 19,240 fatalities.
Keep your head down, Fritzy boy. Keep your head down, Fritzy boy. Last night by the pale moonlight we saw ya, we saw ya. You were mending your broken wire when we opened with rapid fire. If you want to see your batter and your batterland, keep your head down, Fritzy boy. Keep your head down, Fritzy boy. Keep your head down, Fritzy boy. Last night by the pale moonlight we saw ya, we saw ya. You were mending your broken wire when we opened with rapid fire. If you want to see your batter and your batterland, keep your head down, Fritzy boy.
There's a rose that grows in no man's land, and it's wonderful to see. Though it's spread with tears, it will live for years in my garden of memories. It's the one red rose the soldier knows. It's the work of the master's hand. 'Neath the war's great curse stands a Red Cross nurse. She's the rose of no man's land.
women on the front lines, putting their own lives in danger to save those of the soldiers. The young soldiers on the verge of death gratefully clung to the women's hands, their eyes searching for a comforting last smile. And with their bandages and their basins of hot water and their bottles of iodine, the nurses in their stiff white caps and blood-spattered aprons would smile down as they battled to keep them alive. There was a constant threat of cholera, typhoid and tetanus, the horror of the injuries that they were faced with, the potential of bombs and bullets finding their way into their makeshift hospitals. But the nurses of World War I just ploughed on, firm in their convictions that the front line was the best place for these skills. More than 20,000 young women from around the world, many part of Dr. Elsie Inglese's Scottish Women's Hospital Service, went to war. Many never came back.
She's watching by the poplars, calling it with the sea blue eyes. She's watching and longing and waiting where the long wide roadway lies, and a song stirs in the silence as the wind in the boughs above. She listens and sobs and trembles. 'Tis the first little song of love. Roses are shining in Picardy, in the hush of the silvery dew. Roses are flowering in Picardy, but there's never a rose like you. And the roses will die with the summertime, and our roads may be far apart, but there's one rose that dies not in Picardy. It's the rose that I keep in my heart. As the years roll by forever, while the shadows veil the skies, but he loves to hold her little hands and gaze on her sea blue eyes. And she sees the road by the poplars where they met in bygone years, and the first little song of the roses is the last little song she hears. Roses are shining in Picardy, in the hush of the silvery dew. Roses are flowering in Picardy, but there's never a rose like you. And the roses will die with the summertime, and our roads may be far apart, but there's one rose that dies not in Picardy. It's the rose that I keep in my heart.
The men in the trenches tried keeping their spirits up by writing home to their mothers, wives or sweethearts. 12.5 million letters were sent to the Western Front every week. Letters took only 2 or 3 days to arrive from Britain. Even soldiers in the front-line trenches received daily deliveries of letters.
But no matter where the soldiers were billeted, they still liked to chat up the local ladies.
This is a wee song servicemen used to sing. Oh, Mademoiselle from Angleterre, parlez-vous Mademoiselle from Ballyhoo, Mademoiselle from Ballyhoo, she hadn't been kissed for 40 years. Binky, binky, Ballyhoo. Oh, Mademoiselle from Ballyhoo's Ballyhoo. Oh, Mademoiselle from Ballyhoo's Ballyhoo. You might forget the gas and shell, you'll never forget the Mademoiselle. Binky, binky, Ballyhoo. And that's all you're getting with a hell of a lot more. The only girl in the world, and I will the only boy. Nothing else would matter in the world today. We would go on loving in the same old way. A garden of Eden just made for two, with nothing to mar our joy. I would say such wonderful things to you. There would be such wonderful things to do if you were the only girl in the world, and I were the only boy.
Right, hit that again.
You were the only girl in the world, and I were the only boy. Nothing else would matter in the world today. We would go on loving in the same old way. A garden of Eden just made for two, and nothing to mar our joy. I would say such wonderful things to you. There would be such wonderful things to do if you were the only girl in the world, and I were the only boy.
The war raged on. The soldiers were exhausted, fed up living in horrible conditions and seeing death and carnage around them. They wanted to go home.
If you want to find the general, I know where he is. I know where he is. I know where he is. If you want to find the general, I know where he is. He's pinning another medal on his chest. I saw him, pinning another medal on his chest. Pinning another medal on his chest. If you want to find the colonel, I know where he is. I know where he is. I know where he is. If you want to find the colonel, I know where he is. He's sitting in comfort, stuffing his bloody gut. I saw him, sitting in comfort, stuffing his bloody gut. Sitting in comfort, stuffing his bloody gut. If you want to find the sergeant, I know where he is. I know where he is. I know where he is. If you want to find the sergeant, I know where he is. He's drinking all the company rum. I saw him, drinking all the company rum. Drinking all the company rum. If you want to find a private, I know where he is. I know where he is. I know where he is. If you want to find a private, I know where he is. He's hanging on the old barbed wire. I saw him, hanging on the old barbed wire. Hanging on the old barbed wire.
look for the silver lining whenever skies appear in the blue. You'll know that somewhere the sun is shining, and so the right thing to do is make it shine for you. A heart full of joy and gladness will always banish sadness and strife. So always look for the silver lining, and you will find the sunny side of life.
A poem by John McCrae called In Flanders Fields. In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark the place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amidst the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved, well loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you for failing hands we throw, the torch be yours to hold in high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders field. Thank you.
Keep the home fires burning while your hearts are yearning. Though your lads are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver lining through the dark clouds shining. Turn the dark clouds inside out till the boys come home. Keep the home fires burning while your hearts are yearning. Though your lads are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver lining through the dark clouds shining. Turn the dark cloud inside out till the boys come home.
We cannot know, we were not there. It's beyond our comprehension to know the toll that battle brings of resolute intention, to carry on day by day for all you loved and hoped for, to live in peace, a happy life away from bloody war. For far too many, no long life ahead, free of struggle and pain and the gun, and we must remember the price that was paid by each and every one, regardless of views, opinions aside, no matter how each of us sees it. They were there, and I cannot forget, even though I did not live it.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye, Piccadilly. Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, but my heart's right there. It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye, Piccadilly. Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, but my heart's right there. Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, 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 while you've a Lucifer to light your fag. Smile, boys, that's the style. What's the use of worrying? It never was worthwhile. So pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile.
And again.
Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, 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 while you've a Lucifer to light your fag. Smile, boys, that's the style. What's the use of worrying? It never was worthwhile. So pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. Keep right on to the end of the road. Keep right on to the end. Though the way be long, let your heart be strong. Keep right on round the bend. Though you're tired and weary, still journey on till you come to your happy abode, where all you love and you're dreaming of will be there at the end of the
Thank you. That ends the commemoration, but I just want us to take a minute to remember all those others who served, not just in the home front, but the Navy, the Coast Guards who protected all the seas around our islands, the coal miners who kept the factories going, the industrial workers who kept the factories running, the defenders of our coastlines and our skies, those who worked on the land and in agriculture, the fishermen, people who worked in the hospitals, rehabilitation centres, shops, offices, schools, police, firefighters, and the women who took over the men's jobs in factories, transport, the land and elsewhere to keep the country running. All those people who joined together just to keep Britain safe. And not forgetting those brave suffragettes who endured police brutality, violence, force feeding, and even death so that women could have the right to vote. And maybe a lot of people don't know that the suffragettes actually stopped their protesting when the war started. Emmeline Pankhurst decided, no, we must stay though and do the war effort. So the suffragettes stopped their protest for 4 years, and in 1918 some of the women. The People's Representation Act went past and some of the women then got the vote. So let's all commemorate all of them.